Well, Vincent, Twitter's released its initial documents for its IPO in the States. Here in the UK, we have the Royal Mail gearing up for a float, and it's turning out to be a very busy autumn for IPOs.
It is actually. The funny thing is that this is not a vintage year for IPOs, because there was a big dip in the middle of the year after the Fed indicated that it might stop its quantitative easing. That, I think, put a lot of emerging market IPOs in particular, that caused them to pull back their horns a bit and their ambitions. But things are picking up now, certainly. Twitter obviously is going to hug all the limelight. Royal Mail is a big deal here. It's a good old-fashioned privatisation. You have this French company Target, which might come to the market fairly soon. There's stuff coming out of Asia. So it looks like there's been a sort of global dipping of the foot back into the water just at the moment.
Very different kinds of companies. Twitter, a very new economy. Royal Mail, much older economy. Floral manufacturer, also old economy. Is there anything that unites all these IPOs? Any common themes?
I think that the common sort of theme is the reason why the IPOs are happening now. It's the sellers are very keen to sell. That's the bottom line. I mean, that's always the case. I think by definition, you could argue that an IPO happens because a seller wants to sell. But I think that if you look at the sellers in these cases, I mean, for example, in the UK, it's the government. And in France, in the Target case, it's private equity. And in the US, in the Twitter case, it is also, there's an element of private equity. There's also founders wanting to sell. There's a company that's reached a certain stage of growth. And so I think that it's the seller that one should really watch in these cases to get a sense of the dynamic of the market.
But if these IPOs are primarily about existing investors getting out rather than raising new money for growth, it's fine for sellers to want to sell, but should buyers want to buy these things?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think by definition, every IPO is kind of an inside job. You know, it's people on the inside selling to people on the outside. You have to wonder whether the sellers have reaped all the value. The question that buyers have to ask themselves is, what's the value that's left in this company? If these guys are selling it, why should I be buying it? And I think that this is where the IPO market goes wrong. You know, it's what causes initial prices to drop or to rise. And I think that there's quite a gulf in perception between the two of them.
Well, Vincent, as ever with IPOs, I guess anyone buying into them should expect a very keen price in order for putting their money at risk with an untested company, or at least a company that's untested on the public markets. Vincent, thank you very much.